Hey YouTube, I'm Liz Young and I play the violin. A few years ago I did a video playing Time Inception by Hans Zimmer, and I've had a few of you ask me about the sheet music or about how I played it. The fact is that I didn't actually really use sheet music. I had a vague look at what the music was and then I used my ear and I did some improvisation throughout it. I want to focus today on teaching this to you as if you are a complete beginner on the violin, because I know it's such an inspirational, wonderful piece of music that you'll feel really, really great just playing this. And the fact is that it is just 8 notes that just reoccur 9 times. And it just comes down to the way that you play them. So let us learn what those notes are and see how you go. And I'm happy to answer any more questions. But this is going to be the most simplified version of how to play Time Inception on the violin. So, to get started, you've got 4 strings on the violin. You've got G, D, A, and E. Okay, G is the lowest, D is the next highest, A, and E. All right. Now, learning how to pluck is really, really important. So I'm going to put my thumb on the side of the fingerboard here. And I'm going to pluck over the fingerboard. We actually don't pluck here. Doesn't sound very nice. That's where we bow. We pluck over the fingerboard. Now, I haven't talked about how to hold the instrument. Maybe I should do another video on that. But essentially, make sure that the shoulder rest is on your shoulder and that your chin is resting on the chin rest and that you can vaguely hold it just like that, okay? So, in your left hand, you have 4 fingers. We never use the thumb as a finger on the fingerboard. It just rests on the side like that. Your first finger generally is resting sort of nearby your thumb. Now, for this piece of music, you don't need to learn what I call a low second. You'll actually be putting your second finger a tone away from your first finger, okay? So I'm on the G string right now. I'm placing my first finger down, and then I'm placing my second finger, which is my middle finger, and then my third finger comes down, and it is a C, okay? So when I use those 3 fingers on the G string, that's the letter C. This is what it sounds like if I build up from there. G, A, B, C, or we could go do, re, mi, fa. So that is your starting note, okay? Usually beginners have stickers. If you don't have stickers, you can use your ear. But it also is down to the shape of your fingers here. We don't want to be squishing the little birdie that lives in there, but we also don't want to be letting him go. Wow, I really am giving like all of the beginner tips, but I feel like I need to be doing definitely another whole video on how to actually play the violin. But we're jumping straight in there. We're doing Time Inception. That's your starting note. Is C, 2, 3, 4. Same position. Go across to the D string, the next string up. So go from here to here. G, 2, 3, 4. And then 2 fingers on the G string again. B, 2, 3, 4. Same thing. Go across to the D string, like that. So you got that? I'm going to repeat that again. So 3 fingers on the G. 3, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. B, 2, 3, and an F sharp. 2, 3. And then we're into the second half of the phrase. C, 3 fingers again. Same note. Now here's the really cool note that happens. Okay, now that is just 1 finger on the A string, which is that 1, 2, 3. It's that string there. We actually call that string number 2. So that high one's called string number 1. This one here is called string number 2. And it's first finger down on the A string. That's the note that sort of is a bit clashy, but it sounds really great. Back to 2 fingers on the G string, which is the B. And back to your F sharp, which is 2 fingers on the D string. Just like that, okay? And that's the whole thing. If I stop, I could just stop there and you've learnt the whole thing. It keeps recurring the whole time. Now, what I do in my version is I pluck that first bit. So let's just do that whole thing again together. You can practice getting your fingers ready. Thumb, first finger, second finger, third finger is down, and off I go like this. So 3 fingers on the G is C, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, and B, 2, 3, 4, F sharp, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, and B, 2, 3, and back to B. It's 2 fingers on the B. B, 2, 3, and F sharp, 2, 3, 4. Practice just doing that, plucking it with your left hand. Plucking is always a great way of just learning what the notes are with your left hand anyway. It just turns out that I did that in my particular version, so it's a good place to start. Right, let's talk about the bow, because the bow is where you make all these incredibly beautiful, soulful sounds. Yep, it's all about your soul, and you can tell people all about your soul with your bow. The number one thing as a violinist that you need to learn is how to play with a beautifully straight bow. I could talk about bow holds forever, but for the moment, we're going to try and talk about it for 10 seconds. Okay, ready? Here's your bow stick. Your thumb must remain curved and relaxed. Not straight, but curved and relaxed. And he sits in here. See that? See where my nail is? That's where he sits, all right? My ring, what do you call that? That's my middle finger. Whoops. Comes down and touches this, all the silver bit is very close to your thumb, like that. Now, my ring finger is going to rest on the porthole of the ship. That's, you can look up Adventures in Violin Land, how to hold the bow. That's where that comes from. But basically rest on the circle part. My index finger is going to be very, very, very relaxed and lie on top. He never hooks around like that. See how that immediately made my wrist stick up? And that does not look good. Doesn't feel good either. Pinky is always curved. Look at that C shape that the pinky is. That is very, very important because the pinky is the buffer and holds a lot of that balance and the weight of the bow. Doing this particular exercise is really, really handy for you. Handy. So there are things about the bow hold that I could, once again, talk about forever, but I'm not. We have to move on to Time Inception. Please let me know if you'd like far more detail because I love detail. The other way of doing this without any detail at all is to go shake, 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 flop, tilt. And I'm tilting towards the silver bit. It's like I'm turning the tap this way towards like that. And that's sort of the angle. Everything's very, very relaxed. All right, now, don't try and play with your left hand fingers and your bow all at the same time. Practice playing, placing your bow in the middle. Putting stickers is really great. Put a sticker in the middle here, a sticker over here, and a sticker over here, so you've divided your bow into 4. Practice just playing from the middle of the bow to the tip of the bow. Even that can be complicated, all right? Just middle, the tip, and obviously I'm playing between the bridge and the fingerboard. I'm going to make sure that I keep my bow in what I call lane 2. This is lane 1. This is lane 2. This is lane 3. Okay, lane 4 is like almost on the fingerboard over here. So lane 2 is a good one. It's above these sound holes here. And for right now, just focus on lane 2. We're allowed to use the other lanes, but right now it's about consistency. So a nice straight bow from the middle to the tip. Now I get my students to stand against a wall with their shoulder to their elbow, standing against a wall to hold that straight so that they can practice just opening and closing their arm on just that upper half of the bow. Okay, if you want to go all the way to the other end of the bow, the frog of the bow, you've got to actually push, you've got to take your, if you're standing against the wall, elbow off the wall and push it all the way to the frog. Now, you can see that the bow is always parallel with the bridge. As soon as it goes not straight, it's probably not going to be a great sound. So in general, we talk about straight bows a lot. Just try and have a very straight bow. I practiced doing whole bow, straight bow exercises at university for 2 years straight. I did them every day for a couple of hours. It's never a waste of time to practice doing whole bows. Patricia Pollard, greatest teacher ever. Your metronome is going to be your best friend. So if you've got a metronome, or if you don't, Google. Put it on 60 or 65 beats per minute. Inception's about 65, so that's helpful. 60 will just mean you have to work harder, because the slower the bow, the harder it is. But all you're going to do is practice doing, let's pick the A string actually, which is that second string down from the top. You're going to count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 with your metronome ticking. 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, the ability to just do that is, it's difficult to make a really beautiful sound on the violin just by doing a nice long straight bow. So practicing whole bows to a metronome is just going to be the best thing for you in general, but especially for Time Inception. So, in saying that, the next thing to practice are all these string crossings that happen. So we start on the G string, which is the lowest string in Inception. So it's actually a lot further away. So you've got to work harder. Your elbow is has to be a lot higher for the G string, as opposed to like the E string, where it's really, really low, high, low. So you've got to make sure that your bow is on the right level according to what string you're on, okay? So if we're on the G string, the next string we go to is your D string. So even just practicing going from a G to a D, like that. And then I think we go back to G again. Okay, that's it. Now we're going to practice going from the G string to the A string. Back to the G. Back to the D. Now, if you rewind this, that's a bit of an old school term, go back, you can just practice playing with what I just did, because that really is the whole thing. You could play those strings. I'm going to speed it up. Those are the strings that you use for Inception. If you don't go up the octave, if you don't shift, if you don't do all these tricky things that I wouldn't teach a beginner right now, I just want you to be able to play these 8 notes. Okay, so then you've practiced your left hand by itself, you've practiced your bowing, and getting a nice straight beautiful bow. Okay, let's put your left hand with your bow. Okay, so I've got 3 fingers on the G. I've got my whole bow ready to go, ready to count to 4 beats. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and I got 3 fingers on the D string. 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to go 2 fingers, 2, 3, 4, F sharp, 2 fingers on the D string. I'm just pausing between notes, but normally that wouldn't happen. And then 3 fingers on the G, 2, 3, 4, up to your fun 1, 2, that's first finger on the A string, and then 2 fingers on the G. I'll do it again for you to practice with. C, 2, 3, 4, G. 3 fingers on the D. 2 fingers on the G. 2 fingers on the D. 3 fingers on the G. 1 finger on the A. 2 fingers on the G. 2 fingers on the D. Okay, so if you just did that the whole time, you'd be winning and you'd feel so great just playing that. Yes, I do vibrato. Yes, I do a lot more sort of with the bow speeds in my version, But that's something that maybe we can talk about once you've practiced doing just those whole bows. I'll demonstrate. So for instance, when I start, I go... Getting carried away with my vibrato and I forgot my notes. So what I was doing just then was a lot of just delayed vibrato. I start with a bow that's just a completely clean, pure sound, and then I start with some vibrato. And that, for me, is how to create the most soul on the violin. If we're doing vibrato all the time, really intensely, all the time, even in the really intimate, quiet moments, it's just not as deep for me as just delaying that vibrato just a little bit. So when I go to some higher things, like my vibrato gets a bit more intense and I start kind of like shaking all the time, especially up here. That all makes sense. But when you're like being really intimate, it just is the difference between flicking by someone in terms of watching them play the violin and actually getting really, really addicted to their playing, because you can feel them. So the other things that I did in my version was I did like a... I made up a random thing to kind of go above the main riff that was happening, which I think you could probably find the sheet music for somewhere. Someone's written it out probably better than what I did. But those are just much smaller notes that are TTs, and I'm slurring them. A, B, 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 A, B, B, B. But like I said, I don't want to talk about that because I think that you should focus on your long, beautiful bows. Okay, maybe I should be doing a video on vibrato next. Maybe. Let me know your thoughts. Hey, look, please like and subscribe. We all say it. I've had this YouTube channel for like a long time now and I just haven't done a lot on it. But maybe if you guys inspire me with some questions, we could really get something going here. So thank you so much. It was someone pretty ugly, I think. That was their name on YouTube that asked for this. So this is for you, plus all the other people who have asked over the years and I haven't done anything about it. Finally did. Thank you for asking. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.